Thank you, Miss Gabine, for that introduction. Good afternoon, Shilesians, my fellow teachers, and Dr. Tarnate. Today, I am going to explain some of the important subsections of Chapter 3 in a traditional research paper. My topic is about understanding research designs, sampling techniques, and instruments. Our objectives are to be able to know when to use the different types of research designs, sampling techniques, and instruments, and to explain their similarities and differences. So let's start! Ano ba ang research design? It is defined as the overall strategy that the researcher chooses to integrate the different components of the study in a coherent and logical way. Ito yung parang blueprint kung saan nakalagay ang mga hakbang na gagawin sa pagsulat ng isang research paper mula sa sampling, pagkuha ng data at pag-analisa nito. Ang isang research paper ay maaaring maging quantitative o qualitative. Quantitative research deals with numbers and statistics, while qualitative research deals with words and meanings. Ang quantitative research, yan yung PR2. At yung qualitative research naman, yan yung PR1. Maraming uri ng research designs. However, my presentation is about quantitative research designs only. It is subdivided into experimental and non-experimental research. At dahil pandemic, mahirap gawin ang experimental research kasi nga wala tayong face-to-face teaching. At saka, limited yung pwedeng lumabas. That is why I opted to concentrate on some of the most used types of non-experimental research. Here are the characteristics of non-experimental research. First, the independent variable is not manipulated. Di ito katulad ng experimental research na kinukontrol ni researcher ang isang variable para malaman kung ano yung magiging epekto nito sa isa pang variable. Next, no random assignments to groups. When we talk about random assignment, it is the process by which researchers select individuals from their total sample to participate in a specific condition or group, such that each participant has an equal chances of being assigned to each of the groups or conditions. At dahil wala ngang random assignments, sinasabi na ang evidence gathered sa non-experimental research ay limited at weak. And then the last one, sometimes non-experimental research is also called descriptive designs. May iba't ibang uri rin ang descriptive research designs. Kaya lang, ang makikita nyo dito ay ang mga madalas na gamitin lamang. First, we have survey research. It gathers information to see the general picture of the population under investigation in terms of social and economic characteristics, opinions, and knowledge about the behavior towards a certain phenomenon. So remember the key phrases here: social and economic characteristics, as well as opinions and knowledge about a certain behavior. That will tell you when to use survey research. Hindi porket questionnaire ang inyong research instrument, automatically ang magiging research design nyo ay survey research na. Baka meron pang mas applicable na research design na maaari nyong gamitin sa inyong study. So example, a survey study of the association between mobile phone use and daytime sleepiness. This one falls under social phenomenon, and you can automatically apply survey research. Next, we have correlational research. It measures and describes the relationship or association between variables. So remember, correlational research, it looks at the relationship of one variable to another variable. So example, a correlational study of academic performance and study habits. Sabi nila, ang relationship pwedeng maging positive, negative, or zero. So, sa example natin, maaari nating sabihin na kapag maganda ang study habits ng isang bata, pwede siya magkaroon ng magandang grades. Or, pwede naman na kapag hindi maganda ang kanyang study habits, ay bumagsak siya sa mga subjects niya. Or maaari rin nating sabihin na wala silang kinalaman sa isa't isa. Another descriptive research design is the ex post facto studies or causal comparative research. It aims to uncover a cause and effect relationship between two or more groups. Comparison by identifying how different groups are affected by the same circumstance and discusses why and how a phenomenon occurs. So as you can see, there is a word here, there is a word relationship in ex post facto studies. So ano ba yung pagkakaiba nilang dalawa? While causal relationship and correlation can exist at the same time, correlation does not imply cause and effect. Ang ex post facto studies, it applies to cases wherein si A causes B. So, meron tayong cause and effect relationship. Ang correlation naman, simply about relationship. Si A ay related kay B. Pero hindi ibig sabihin nun na nangyari si B dahil kay A. Correlation means there is a relationship or pattern between the values of two variables. On the other hand, ex post facto studies means that one event causes another event to occur or happen. So, yun yung difference nilang dalawa. Example ng ex post facto ay exploring the impact of parental level of education and parental support on first-year college adjustment. So, sa example na to, pwede nating sabihin na kapag mataas ang pinag-aralan ng magulang at supportive sila, maaaring ang maging effect nito sa bata ay madali siyang mag-adjust sa kanyang pag-aral sa college. So, merong cause and effect relationship. This one is not under quantitative research design, but you can use it on your IIR subjects. So, I am talking about the mixed methods research or qualitative quantitative research design. So, it is a procedure for collecting, analyzing, and mixing both quantitative and qualitative research and methods in a single study to understand a research problem. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Pinagsama, kinumbine, pinaghalo ang mga methods ni qualitative at quantitative sa isang study or sa isang research paper. Ngayon, kailan gagamitin ang mixed method research? Ito yung mga conditions. The first one, when both quantitative and qualitative data together provide a better understanding of your research problem than either type by itself. Next, when one type of research, so it's either qualitative or quantitative, is not enough to address the research problem or answer the research questions. So, Sa mga study, minsan kailangan na hindi lang puro numbers, kailangan din ng words para mas maintindihan or mas maipaliwanag, ma-explain or masagutan yung SOP. Yun yung kaya kailangan gamitin yung mixed method research. Minsan sa questionnaire, aside from hinihingi yung mga quantitative data, minsan may mga follow-up question na kailangan ng explanation para mas maintindihan yung numerical data. So, under pa rin yun ng mixed method research. Now, remember, the report should parallel your data analysis and interpretation of results. The data analysis section is an attempt to converge both types of data into a single set of results and interpretations, relating directly back to the research problem and guiding questions. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Kapag sa inyong questionnaire, pinaghiwalay nyo yung qualitative at quantitative data, kailangan pag in-explain nyo yon sa chapter 4 ng traditional research, magkaiba rin. Separated din dapat si quantitative at qualitative data. Kapag naman magkahalo sila, ganun din dapat yung explanation nyo sa chapter 4. Magkasama dapat yung qualitative at quantitative data. Moving on to my second topic, we have the sampling techniques. So, ito yung pag-gather na ng data. So, kailangan na natin ng mga respondents, yung mga sasagot dun sa research instrument nyo. So, when we talk about sampling, it is a technique of selecting a subgroup of people from a population so that the result with that subgroup may be generalized to the entire population. So basically, since we are dealing with quantitative research design, so it means we can just get a sample, and whatever the result of that sample, it can be generalized to the whole population. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung result, yung lalabas dun sa na-analyze na data mula sa sample, ibig sabihin, yun yung nagre-represent sa buong population. So, the ultimate purpose of sampling is to get accurate representative or accuracy of a sample size in representing the entire population. So, sabi ko nga, ang dahilan kung bakit kailangan nating gumamit ng sampling techniques para makakuha tayo ng sample na kung saan sila yung magre-represent sa buong population. Before we move on with the different types of sampling techniques, let us first differentiate population from sample. When we say population, it is defined as all the possible members or groups that have the same characteristics in which the researcher may be interested in studying too. It is represented by capital N. So remember the phrase same characteristics. Halimbawa, mga nag-aaral sa Shilito Zamora Senior High School. So, automatically, ang population nyo ay ang grade 11 at grade 12. So, going back, there is another phrase, target population. It is defined as population of interest. Halimbawa uli, si researcher, interesado lang siyang pag-aralan ang grade 12 o kaya grade 11. So, ang population natin again ay yung buong grade 11 at grade 12. Lahat na nag-aaral sa school. Ang target population natin, it's either grade 11 or grade 12. Next, we have sample. It is defined as a subgroup of the target population that the researcher chooses to participate in the study. So, ito ngayon, namili na si researcher. Meron na siyang gustong pag-aralan na dun sa, from the population. So, kanina yung target population natin, either grade 12 or grade 11. So, pwede na yung sample, pwedeng ACAD or TVL, o kaya UMS lang, STEM lang. So, ganun. Mas konti siya compared sa target population. So, another definition, we have random or non-random. So, pag sinabing random, may equal chances yung mga members ng target population para maging sample. Pag non-random, si researcher yung nagbigay ng kondisyon para siya yung namili ng magiging sample niya out of the target population. And may be representative or non-representative. So, kailan siya magiging representative? Pag random yung pagpili sa sample. Pag non-random, ibig sabihin non-representative. Kasi pag sinabing representative, ibig sabihin nun, kung ano man yung lumabas na result dun sa analyzation ng data, pwede siyang i-generalize into the entire population. Pag non-representative, ibig sabihin, yung lalabas na result dun sa data analysis ay walang kinalaman or hindi nagre-represent ng entire population. Next, ang sample is represented as small n. And sabi dito, yung mga napili na sample ang tinatawag na subjects or respondents of the study. There are two types of sampling techniques. The first one is probability sampling, and then the other one is non-probability sampling. So let's focus on the probability sampling techniques. It is defined as a method of drawing samples wherein every members of the target population has an equal chance of being selected. So, paano naman sila masiselect? Ano-ano yung mga pwedeng gamitin? So, dito sa picture, as you can see, there are 7 persons and they are numbered from 1 to 7. So, these are the methods that can be used in selecting a sample using probability sampling techniques. Pwedeng mag-assign na numbers, pwedeng auto-generate random using online app, or pwedeng selection. So, let's say, for example, every second person. So, next. Ano yung reason kung bakit nyo gagamitin ang probability sampling techniques? Unang-una, whatever the result of probability sampling techniques, you can automatically generalize it to the entire population because the samples are representative of the entire population. So, ang condition lang, kailangan lahat ng members ng target population ay nasa isang listahan. So, merong complete list of all the members of the target population si researcher. So, ano-ano yung mga probability sampling techniques? So, let's start with simple random sampling. Each member of the target population has an equal chance of being included since the samples are chosen randomly by using lottery, table of random values, or random number generator. So, sa picture, as you can see, ito yung target population natin. So, lahat ng nandyan sa target population, meron silang equal chances to be included in the sample. So, paano pipiliin itong mga samples na ito? So, pwede daw sabi, lottery, pwedeng draw lots, or yung mga online application na random generator. So, next, we have stratified sampling. So, ano naman yung difference ng stratified sampling? The target population is first divided into subgroups or strata according to predefined characteristics. So, dito sa example, you have now the target population. So, as you can see, there are 4 groups or 4 subgroups or 4 strata. So, lahat yan merong predefined characteristics. So, dun lang sa picture, kung nakikita nyo, nakasuot ng blue, nakasuot ng green, ng pink, at ng brown. So, pwedeng sabihin natin yung basis lang nila, yung t-shirt, yung color ng shirt. So, from each stratum, the samples can be drawn using simple random sampling or systematic sampling. Okay? Remember, ang simple random sampling, magagamit nyo siya kapag ang target population ay konti lang. Pero kapag masyadong marami yung target population, impractical nang gamitin si simple random sampling. The third type of probability sampling techniques is the systematic sampling. In systematic sampling, a preselection system is applied to complement the randomness of the selection process, which requires a complete list of members of the target population. So in this example, as you can see, these are the members of your target population, and then from these target populations, the samples are drawn using the formula population size over desired sample size. So, N over N. So, kailangan sa systematic sampling, kukunin nyo yung kth element. So, dito sa example na to, every second person is systematically selected. So, automatically, ang naging samples niya, multiples ng 2. So, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So, yun yung systematic sampling. Next, we have cluster sampling. So, kailan naman ginagamit si cluster sampling? It is used when the population is dispersed over a wide geographic region and is costly to gather a complete list of members of the population. So, pag magkakalayo sila, saka magiging magastos para kunin yung kumpletong listahan ng population. So, yung population ngayon, so dito sa example, as you can see, meron tayong clusters. This is the target population. So, meron tayong 6 na cluster. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. From these 6 clusters, ito, the sample clusters or groups are drawn randomly. So, ito ngayon yung naging sample group out of the target population. The last type of probability sampling techniques is the multi-stage sampling. It is used when the population is too large, scattered, and impractical to make a list of the whole population from which to draw a simple random sampling. Samples are drawn by using combinations of different sampling methods. So, dito sa example natin, yan, mapa yan. So, yung target population nyo ay dito siya nakatira sa Sac, Mills, Clark, Iowa, and Chickasaw. So, dahil magkakalayo sila, Sa ganitong situation, automatically, ang gagamitin natin ay multi-stage sampling. So, paano ngayon kukunin yung samples? So, i-apply natin yung iba't ibang sampling methods. Now, let's talk about the non-probability sampling. It is a technique where the samples are gathered in a process that does not give all the individuals in the target population equal chances of being selected. So ngayon, hindi lahat ng members ng target population ay pwedeng mapasama sa sample. So paano ngayon pinipili yung sample? It relies on the subjective judgment of the researcher. Hence, it is best used for qualitative research. So, ngayon, si researcher yung nagbibigay ng kondisyon. Siya yung nagde-decide ngayon. Siya yung namimili ng magiging sample niya sa kanyang study. So, ano-ano yung mga types or uri ng non-probability sampling techniques? Una, we have convenience sampling. It involves collecting a sample from somewhere convenient to the researcher. So, pwedeng mall, local school, or church. Yung mall, kung saan lagi siyang nagpupunta doon, kung saan siya nagtatrabaho, or nagsisimba. So, sometimes it is called accidental sampling, opportunity sampling, or grab sampling. Ang problem lang sa convenience sampling, yung sample ay hindi siya representative ng entire population. So, dito sa picture, as you can see, ito si researcher, and then he or she has yung kanyang random friends. Ito yung kanyang random friends. Yan po ang kanyang mga random friends. And then, from that, kukuha siya ngayon ng sample. So, syempre, kung friends niya yon, mas madaling makakuha ng data. Mas convenient, mas magaan sa kanya. Okay? Another type of non-probability sampling is the purposive sampling. The respondents are chosen according to preselected criteria made by the researcher, which is relevant to the research questions. It is also known as judgmental, selective, or subjective sampling. So, dito sa picture, as you can see, ito si researcher. Ayan si researcher. And then, we have the target population. So, from the target population, he now has his sample. So, si researcher gumawa siya nung conditions kung paano niya makukuha yung kanyang magiging sample. So, ano yung pwede nating gawing example? So, kung after kayo sa academic performance and yung kaninang example natin, academic performance and study habits. So, pwedeng si researcher, if he will use yung purposive sampling, pwedeng ang condition niya, yung mga batang ang average ay 90 above or 74 below. So, lahat ng members ng target population na makapag-satisfy dun sa given condition niya automatically becomes his sample or his respondents. The next type of non-probability sampling techniques is the snowball sampling. It is also known as chain referral sampling, wherein the participants refer the researchers to others who may be able to potentially contribute or participate in the study, especially those who are hard to reach and or hidden for exhibiting social stigma or illegal behaviors. So, example dito, ito yung ating unang respondents. So, yung unang respondents, magbibigay siya ng names na possible na maging susunod na respondents. And then, yung binigay niyang respondents, magsasuggest din ng another names. So, parami sila ng parami. So, example, kung ang study nyo is about drug addiction, syempre, hindi naman masyadong broadcast kung sino yung mga person na addicted sa drugs. So, kailangan nire-refer yun ng isang tao para makakuha ka ng respondents. The last type of non-probability sampling techniques is the quota sampling. So, the number of samples is decided by gathering a predefined number of participants from each of several predetermined categories. The selection process within each category may be random. So, example, ito. So, ito po yung ating target population. So, para makakuha ka ng sample using quota sampling, so, ito yung kanyang predefined number of participants. Ito yung kanyang predetermined categories. So, male, above 50. So, that's why this is now his sample. So, remember, pag quota sampling, merong predetermined categories. So, yun ay nakabase kay researcher. My last topic is about research instrument. It is a tool used to collect, measure, and analyze data related to your research interest. So, sino ba yung nagde-decide kung anong instrument ang gagamitin? Siyempre, si researcher. Kaya lang, kailangan, kung ano man yung research instrument niya, make sure na makakatulong yon para sagutin or masagutan yung SOP. And, according to this, research instrument is tied to research methodology. What are the characteristics of a good research instrument? First, it must be based upon the conceptual framework and free from all kinds of biases. So, hindi pwedeng maging subjective si researcher sa paggawa ng research instrument. Next, gather data suitable for and relevant to the research topic and gather data that would test the hypothesis or answer the research questions. So, katulad nga ng sinabi kanina, ang research instrument ay gagamitin para masagutan ang SOP. Now, ano-ano ba yung mga iba't ibang research instruments? First, we have observation. So, method of data collection in which researchers observe within a specific research field. And then we also have interview, an appropriate method when there is a need to collect in-depth information on people's opinions, thoughts, experiences, and feelings. So, sa qualitative and quantitative research designs, magkaiba yung processes ng pag-conduct ng observation and interview. Sa quantitative, structured observation and structured interview. Ibig sabihin, may plan yun at yung plan na yun ang talagang ina-apply ni researcher para makuha yung data sa respondents. So, sa structured interview, ang ginagamit is close-ended questions wherein mamimili lang ng sagot yung respondents. Unlike sa qualitative interview na pwedeng mag-follow-up questions si researcher. So, wala siyang script. Unlike sa quantitative interview. Next, we have questionnaires. So, we all know what the questionnaires are. So, a written or printed form of questions which help simplify and quantify people's behaviors and attitudes. So, ito yon, pwedeng close-ended at open-ended. And then we also have tests, which is used to measure attitudes, personality, self-perceptions, aptitude, and performance of research participants. So it provides information that is measured against a variety of standards. So usually, test is applied in experimental research. Like for example, NAT exam, aptitude test, uh, summative test. So those are examples of tests used in research. And then lastly, we have content analysis. So ang content analysis, yan yung magbabasa lang ng magbabasa si researcher. And then from mga binasa niyang studies and literature, gagawa siya ngayon ng inferences. And then, ano pa ang gagawin niya? Hanapin niya yung motives, values, or intentions nung nagsulat nun. And kailangan niya maintindihan kung ano yung meaning nung inferences. So, ang source of data dito is the secondary data. Finally, we've come to the end of my presentation. This has been Miss Villaruel. Thank you for joining me. Keep safe, everyone.